guys. Oh, hey.
Thank God. It's another Ali Day.
Super Gold Sunday edition. Today we're going to be talking about your relationship enslavement. What does that mean? Your relationship is enslaved by past mistakes. If you can relate to this, don't you move. I just wanted to do that like it was a commercial.
I thought you were going to say hit the like button. I was like,
oh yes,
right now.
Hit the like button. yes. But anyway, so what that basically means is, are there situations that happen in your relationship that you cause your person to be enslaved to? So something that is kind of negative. I mean, like, we're obviously not in this space anymore, and I'm thankful. When Sharif and I initially started dating, and this is why it's really bad to go from relationship to relationship. But when Sharif and I first started dating, I had just gotten out of a relationship with someone who was like a crazy maniac, and they like did everything on 150. And so when Sharif and I would talk, because Sharif is, he's cool, he's more rhythmic, he's like, yeah, I would be like, come on, get to the point. And so as our relationship progressed, Sharif would throw up in my face every time we had an argument or a disagreement.
I know you want to get to the point.
Right, and I would be like, no. I love your voice. I want to hear you speak, which is all true now. But when we initially started dating, I was kind of like I didn't know him. You know what I mean? And so I didn't know his flow. And I had to adjust to that flow. And once I became adjusted to it, I was so attracted to what I initially was attracted to in him anyway, which was his calm and cool nature. But it took him about 7 or 8 years, I would say, to really stop saying, to remove that expectation of himself. And he was like, because I know what you want. And then there was another thing you used to say that I didn't like you.
Oh, yes, I did used to say that.
And I would be like, oh my God. He was like, I don't think we would be friends if we weren't together. And I'm like, and it's making me tear up even right now thinking about it, because I love him so much. It's so hard for me to imagine him feeling like I don't like him. Like, I like him the most of like any person in the world, really. And so, but it that was a function of him being committed to who I was when we initially started dating.
Right.
So if that's something you can relate to, I really think that this is a show that you don't want to miss, because we're going to talk about how to get through that and how to get over it. Okay, so starting out. Number 1, discouragement. You can really discourage your partner with words like that. There was a time when I had just started whatever. He thinks I don't want to listen to him, so I'm just not going to listen to him. When you have discouraging statements, like if your partner cheated on you, and I just keep going to cheating because I know that's something that most people deal with regularly, but if you're going to forgive that person, then you have to forgive them and you need to move on. You can't keep discouraging them because I know how you are. This the type of person. You can't make that person feel badly. The best thing that you can do for your relationship is to constantly encourage your partner, constantly let them know how much you love them. I'm feeling you, I got your back, or leave.
Yeah, I heard that, I heard in the service that encouragement builds the confidence for you to live out your life, right? And so, I mean, I think that it's common sense, but it's not common practice for people to encourage your partner. I mean, it's so real. Like the Bible says, there's power of life and death in the tongue. On either end, you can either destroy a person or make a person, right? So if you're hooked up with someone, especially if this is someone that you're in love with and you want to take on for the rest of your life, chances are you want to speak as much life into that person as possible, and to not hold on to the past, hold on to the negative parts of your past. Because if you're constantly thinking about what they did, what they said,
right,
who they were, then that's going to leak out of you.
And it keeps the person bound.
And it's going to keep them bound. And simultaneously, it will keep you bound. And you guys won't be free. And that's what we're talking about, like freedom. You
can't be in a situation where you feel free if you feel bound. I was in a relationship before, and I mean, I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't look at anyone. I couldn't wear certain things. I couldn't listen to certain things. My friend cut her hair and went blonde, so my ex-boyfriend accused me of being a lesbian because my friend cut her hair. And it was just like, I felt so like suffocated that I just couldn't be happy. I was so, like, I was into this guy. You know what I mean? We were together for a substantial amount of time. And I was really into him. But his rules, they made me feel like I was choking. It was like, it was awful. So the thing about it is, if you are doing that to your person, whether you think they deserve it or not, they're not happy. And what ends up happening a lot of times in relationships, and I've seen this on more than one occasion, the offender becomes the exiter. And then the person who did the offenses, they moved on. And the person who was offended is like, you left me after all I did for you, after all I took from you, how you gonna just do me like that? Well, the thing about it is, because you wouldn't release that grudge, that whatever made that person unhappy to begin with, whatever caused them to continuously commit whatever actions they were against you, the more you harp on it, instead of their love growing for you, the reverse happens. And they start to like just dislike you with so much disdainment, and then they move on, because self-preservation is nature's first law and everyone wants to be happy.
So the next thing we want to talk about is overflowing your partner with affirmative action and affirmative statements. They're hand in hand. You say it and you do it, or you do it and you say it. And sometimes, like an example can be, you may be in the kitchen and then your husband walks past you and he rubs your shoulder and he's like, baby, I love you. And you may not say it, but in the back of your head, you're like, I know that you love me. You know what? I didn't even get to hear that because I know that you do. And it's probably because you can run a list off of things that he's done for you, rather going to work or thinking about you in a special way or doing things for you that you didn't need to rehearse him or coach him. He just did it. So whatever it is, they're both hand in hand. You can't say you love me, but then show me that you don't. Or, sometimes people do need to hear it. Some people don't. But I would just say affirm them with your words and also with your actions.
And I want to interrupt you there, because some people don't need to hear it.
Right.
Some people need to feel it.
Right. True.
Regardless, if you want to get your relationship out of the ditch and you want to take this negativity and turn it into a positive, these are just some of the things that we've studied and watched, observed from other couples that work. You have to work in a relationship. It's not just a free-for-all. You can't just, like, I know this one person, and she's always saying, I can't be myself in relationships. And I'm like, well, I'm not really myself either. Like, I'm myself, but I'm also his self. Like, there's a self that your partner needs you to be. And like I said, my husband's love language is words of affirmation. I cannot do anything. I can sit on the couch with my feet up all day and constantly speak love into his life, and his cup will runneth over. Yeah. Overflow. You know what I mean? That's what you want to produce in your relationship, in your marriage. Overflow. For me, I don't need to hear it as much as I need to feel it. I need deeds. You know what I mean? Sharif can talk to me too. Baby, you look good. That butt is brown. Ooh, them lips is luscious. And I'll be like, oh, that's cute, but did you take out the trash? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Right. Whatever. So it's like, learn your partner's love language and just overwhelm them with that. Even if you feel like they don't deserve it because of something they did in the past, that's not the point. We're not here to discuss the past. If you plan to, that's our recipe in our relationship. We are Bonnie and Clyde. Sharif and I go hard for one another to the day we die. We've been through it. Anyone who knows us personally knows that we have gone through the river and the falls and the storm and the tropical storm and who was it, Irma. We've been there, and we've been back, and it doesn't seem like it because we have one thing in common, and that's that we just try to constantly overwhelm one another with affection, and we like each other. You feel as though your partner doesn't like you, if you do, then you have to, that person, you need to tell them, be honest, hey, I'm feeling like you don't like me lately. And then your partner needs to try to affirm you as much as possible. There is no, you a baby, I don't got time for that. Listen, if we're going to be in a relationship, you need to make time for it.
Right.
And finally, for me, it's like, the best thing to do is to link up with your partner and walk through life. Lock arms and walk through this life together. You can be standing close as Siamese twins and internally be far as two enemies. But when you link up and I'm feeling the warmth of his skin and I'm feeling his energy and I'm looking into his eyes and I'm like, regardless of what we go through, we're going to go through it together. We're going to weather this storm. I got you. I know you got me. That is affirmation without saying you look good. That's affirmation without taking out the trash. That's like, I'm feeling your heartbeat through the pulse of your veins in your skin. And I know that at the end of the day, regardless to what, we're going to walk through the fire together.
And for me, this is, like what we're doing right now, I don't recall the history of it, but this is symbolic of our wedding day. You know, like Felicia and I, when she came in, she wasn't locked onto me. She was locked onto the man who walked her down the aisle. And then when they did that final kiss and then the pronouncement was made and we were husband and wife, after our kiss, we went like this. I mean, we were on the other side of one another, but still, you know, we went like this. And for me, that's symbolism. Again, link arms with them. Lock up with your partner. At the end of the day, the Bible says, and I'm going to just keep on going to the Bible to remind you, the two have become one. Like you are one with your spouse. Wherever I go, you go. If I'm going to go into the dark, you're going into the dark with me. If we're going to the light, we're going in the light together. Link up with one another. Here it is, though. If you keep your partner in the past, it's not like you're doing like this. You did this back here, and I'm way up here. No, y'all linked up. Y'all linked up. So if you're talking about what they did, you're staying right there in the past with them. You can't go forward. It's impossible. It's impossible for your marriage, your relationship, to go forward if you keep one another back here, because you're linked up, you're one. Okay? So make sure that you just remember this, because this is taking you far. Keep going forward so both of y'all are happy.
And some more of our source is desire.
Yes.
I need to feel desire. Sharif needs to feel desire. I crave Sharif like I crave my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like every day of my life, I'm telling him how much I need him, how much I want him, how much I love him. I'm trying to make sure that he understands that I need you like I need air.
Right.
That's what we all need to feel. Your marriage, that's what your marriage needs to sustain it. So please break away from the idea that you hurt me when you did whatever. And I had seen an episode of The Desperate Housewives Housewives of Atlanta, and Cynthia was saying she's just the type of person who, she couldn't get over some of the things that she and Peter had experienced in their marriage. And I'm like, no, sweetie, you're on a national television station saying that you are a woman, a black woman. You know, this is like, I'm rooting for their relationship at this point. You know what I mean? I watched it. He was a bit much, but I'm sure he wasn't a bit much in their marriage. I'm sure he was a bit much in their relationship, but she still married him. The point I'm trying to make is this. You can't ever lose sight of who this person is. You can't ever say to yourself first, I just can't get over it. I just can't. You can't.
Exactly, because you're not going to allow the craving to come.
Right.
You know, when I was younger, my first time trying broccoli, my mother forced me to eat it, and I vomited. And then, first she gave me the broccoli. I'm like, oh, no, I don't like it. So then she said, okay, fine, let me put some cheese on it. Put some cheese on it, still didn't like it, to the point that I was like, right? Then I grow older, and I'm like, I could have said, yeah, back then in the past, I threw up on broccoli and don't want to do it again. No, but I tried it because in my present situation, perhaps my taste may be different. Perhaps what happened in the past wouldn't happen to me now. And so I'm saying that because, like, when you are in whatever you're in, if the past tries to creep up in you, in your marriage and relationship, remember the broccoli. Remember that the broccoli may not taste now what it tasted like back then. The reason why Felicia can keep telling me I love you, oh, I crave you, oh, I desire you, is because she's not staying in love with the Sharif back in 2008. She's constantly keeping in love with the Sharif that she's existing with day by day. You will not ever have a craving for your partner if you keep them stuck in the past. If you keep yourself stuck in the past.
Yeah.
It's over. You digested it. You pooped that thing out. It's over. Be in the present. desire what she is or he is right now, because that's the person who you're with. You're with you right now.
And most importantly, please allow redemption back into your marriage. Allow it into your marriage if it wasn't previously there. You must crave it. You must yearn for it. Pray for it. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, please be open to it.
We talked this, and I mean, clearly you all would know if you've seen recent videos or even right now, our beliefs and where our faith is grounded in. I don't know what your religion may be or what your faith base may be, but I think everybody can relate to this story. Like when the story of Jesus, when he was finally on the cross and being persecuted for like no reason, there was pain, it was gory, it was bloody, it was people spectating but not trying to help. And I'm sure every one of you can relate to that. A point in your life, a point in your relationship where it seemed like you were by yourself, that you could talk until the cows came home and nobody was able to relate to you on the level that you needed them to. It was just you and God and this person who feels like your enemy, right? But after that death, after Jesus said, it's finished, died, and then something happened. Redemption happened. He had to die in order for redemption for mankind to happen and for us to have like that relationship between God and us. And again, whatever your faith base is, you can relate to being at a point in your marriage or in your relationship where you felt like it's dead. But every relationship has its winter. But after the winter comes the spring. But if you stay in the winter, you will never allow your season of spring to come, to bud. And that, my friend, is where the bliss happens. That is where the redemption happens. And in the redemption is a renewal. It's like, it's falling in love all over again. It's desiring one another all over again. It's being funny, playful, giddy, all over again. And you can experience that. But you got to get off that cross. You have to stop thinking about where you came from.
And just like Jesus did it for us, you have to remember about your family, not just your children. When people get married, your families come together, your in-laws, whether you love them or hate them or whatever the case may be, everyone is one at that point. And when you break off, there's that division. And that's what the devil wants. The devil wants your marriage. He wants your relationship to be broken because he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And especially in families. Fight for your marriage. Fight for it like you will fight for your own life. Guys, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being faithful. Thank you so much for sharing this video. I know that it's going to bless someone because it's blessing me even right now. And I want you to take it away.
All right. And so tomorrow, come to the vlogs, baby. Monday through Friday, we're having half-hour vlogs. And again, like my wife said, just thanks for rocking with the Ollie's on the Super Gulp Sunday. And we'll see you all tomorrow. And as always,
when something seems bad, turn it around and make something good.
Blessings.